What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my tiny garage. My name is Jared, and on my bench today we have a Murray push mower, and this thing is definitely a barn find if I have ever seen one. This thing is pretty rough. We got hay in it. We got dirt everywhere is what we got. I don't even know if this has oil in it, to be perfectly honest. It does pull over, but pretty hard, and I think the brake might be stuck on, but we're going to find that out. So in this video here, I thought it'd be a fun project to see if we can get this running again, see if we can get it operational, and don't know what we'll run into, what we'll find, or what we'll learn along the way. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started and see what we got going on with this thing. Alright, looking this thing over here a little bit. Our primer bulb is, got a little bit of press to it. Got a little bit of fuel down in our tank. Nothing too crazy though. It's not rusted out, so that's a good thing. What do you think? It does pull over, but it is hard. I think the brake is stuck on because the handle is laid back and doesn't want to move. So we'll check that out here first. But otherwise, looks like it's all here. It definitely hasn't run in a while though. Let's go check the oil and see if we can tell if it has any oil or not. Yeah, it's got oil. Pretty dark looking oil, but it does have oil. So I guess that's a good thing. Good sign anyway. Alright, let's pop this cover off and see if the brake is released or not. Okay, it would appear that that is the problem. Does it move here? Yes, it does move. Okay, yep, that's for sure the problem. Okay, well that's easy enough. Pretty sure I have a new one of these cables sitting around here. Let's see if we can get this cable pulled off, and we'll see if the one I have matches up or not. When it comes to getting these out of here, they just got squeeze tabs on either side. You just press in and wiggle it back through, usually. There we go. Just take it right around, pops right out of there. Up here on this side of things, we just got our piece that slides out of there. See if we can't pop this coupler off. There we go. Alright, well, that was easy enough. Right. Put this end in there. I'm going to wait to put this in here until we get this other end fished down and just make sure it fits. So let's go ahead and get that moved around there and make sure it's long enough first. Oh yeah. Yep, that's the perfect length right there. Let's see if we can't get this worked up into place. Oh, it's tight. Guess they were worried about that coming out of there. Quite make the bend, it doesn't seem like, for some reason. See if I can't use the sander and sand this down just a little bit. Seems to be just a little bit too thick on the elbow. Okay, can we get it in now? Almost. Still just a little bit too thick there at that elbow. There we go. Let me just go over here and press this into place. Perfect. Okay, we should be able to push this back into place here now. This clip. There we go. Oh yeah. Alright, well, now that the handle is taken care of, we can get this thing spun back around on our workbench. And I believe that means that we are ready to give it the old try here. There we go. That way our brake system will stay back and out of the way as we're trying to start it. Gonna pop off the air filter. We're just gonna shoot some cleaner right down in the filter. I know it's not gonna run off fuel, so we're not even gonna try to do that. Just get that out of the way and a little bit of dust down in there, but not too bad. Okay, will it go? White pulled over hard. I'd say here on second thought, let's just go ahead and pull off the top cover here. That way we can get right to the crankshaft nut and we'll just turn the engine over that way. It wouldn't be a true barn find if we didn't find one different size bolt on it. We'll use a impact here, see if we can't get this to turn. I'm going to use a ratchet sock. I don't know what else you want to call it, but it'll lock in this way, and then once the engine starts, instead of tearing the drill out of your hand, it'll ratchet. That way it doesn't make the drill fly around and hit you in the face, which is usually not really recommended. So, all right. There we go. What do you know about that? It will run. All right. Well, that means the only thing we can do from here is get in to see about getting it to run properly. So I guess the first thing we'll do is we'll take a look at this carburetor. Get this boot pulled off of here. There we go. My voice probably sounds a little bit hoarse here in this video. I just got back from being sick here a little bit, so hopefully that'll clear up a little bit as the video goes along here, but I do apologize for that. Doing my best here for you guys. Alright. Looks like we got 5 screws holding us in here. This spring's seen better days, that's for sure. Looks like we got the stretch it out till it works method going on, so I have to see if I have another spring laying around we can maybe replace that with. Alright. Looks like we're going to take the screws out entirely. I was hoping we might be able to lift it out of there, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. Well, we might have to take the whole fuel tank and everything off of here, as a matter of fact. I think we're going to have to. Well, that's okay. Might actually be better that way. Make it a little easier to get down in there and get that old fuel out. Yeah, it looks like that's what needed to happen there. Okay. Now what are we stuck on here? There it comes. Alright. Okay, there's the fuel tank. Set that off to the side for now. Get that off of here. Get our spring off of here. There we go. So it looks like what we got is a mini pulsa jet carburetor. They might even call this a pulsa jet, to be honest. I'm not quite even sure. But it looks like it pretty well. You got a main pickup tube here. You got like a carbon diaphragm underneath of here. And then you got your main pickup there. So if we look at the tank side, we can see that you got like a bowl system right there that your screen pickup tube would fit down into. So your main pickup would pull fuel up in here and then drop it down into there via the diaphragm. So the diaphragm would pump it up, pump it over, and pump it into there. And then it would, of course, suck up into the engine that way. So, okay. Well, that makes sense. That'll make it easy enough to clean. So let's take this right over to our bench and see what we got to work with. And then we'll address this fuel tank. Okay, over here onto our work table. Got our carburetor over here. So there's our screen. So that would be what I would call our main jet then, coming up through the bottom. Looks like we got a gasket and a diaphragm system here. Yeah. Pull that off of here. There's a spring right there. Be the spring for the diaphragm. Make sure that doesn't get lost. Pull that off. And I do have a new primer bulb here for this. So let's just go ahead and take this one out of here. That way we can clean it. So the way this works is you just simply push in on the tabs on either side of it. And it just kind of pushes out. So let's see if we can, without stabbing ourselves, get one side started up here. There we go. There's one side started. Get the other side. Oh, it just broke. Well, that's good too. I'd say it's a good thing we're probably replacing it then, if it's that brittle and old. There we go. Stuff up here to the side so we don't lose it. And other than that, it looks pretty straightforward, I'll be honest and say. Yeah, let's use the air gun and blow some of this dirt off of here. Alright, well that got rid of a little bit of this stuff. I guess let's grab a pan and some cleaner. Go through and see if we can't get this thing cleaned up a little bit better. It doesn't really look like there's that many places for stuff to hide, so I'm not going to really worry about sending this through the ultrasonic or anything. We'll just work on this here by hand. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get into that here. be honest, this thing doesn't look too terrible bad. It's definitely dirty, but it's not like it's like super caked with fuel or anything like that. Which you can't really say I'm too surprised about. It's always seemed like these Pulsa jet styles and always seem to be a little more cleaner just by design, I guess. They don't tend to have fuel sitting in them like your carburetors that you normally see now. Since they draw fuel up, it always seemed like they stay just a little bit cleaner, from my experience anyway. These are welding tip cleaners here to make sure that everything's nice and clear. Yep. Everything seems to be nice and clear. A little bit of old fuel in there in yellow, you can see, but overall not too bad. Let's blow it off here with the air gun again, see how it looks. See what our fuel tank has in store for us. A little bit old fuel. Yeah, a little bit of water maybe. A little cloudiness. Honestly, not too bad. Clean her up in there and get it swished around. Looks like the bowl's clean down in here. Everything else seems to be pretty well open. You can almost just look right through everything. Yeah. Everything seems to be open as much as it wants to be open. Wash our screen out. Alright, well, I'd say we should be good to reassemble everything. It's back and clean again, looks alright. This should be our gasket and diaphragm kits. There we go. Yeah, it fits real nice. So our diaphragm goes down first. Our gasket goes on top of the diaphragm, like so. Then for our carburetor side, gotta make sure we get our plunger ball reinstalled. So our new plunger ball goes in exactly the way the old one came out, just reverse. So we just simply press it into place. Just be careful when you're doing this, you don't tear the rubber plunger itself. Go until you hear it snap into place. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Plunger's in. Now we got to put our screen back on, and then our little spring goes on there like so. Should be able to just go ahead and just reassemble this here. I don't know why we couldn't. Since it all seemed to want to come off together, it should be able to all go back on together, I would say. Get that installed like that. Wonderful. All right, there it is. That was one of the easiest carburetor cleans I think I've ever done here. All right, let's go back over to the machine and get this back installed. That goes back in there like so. We have this bushing and bolt goes in here like this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now this gets slid on here on the intake shaft, or the intake manifold, like so. The bolt goes in the front. Perfect. Sure, our boot's nice and clear. Don't need dirt coming in that direction. There we go. Okay, I guess now we need to adjust this spring. Let me see if I got a spring around here that'll work. Sorting through my spring assortment here of things, I came across one that's similar. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I may just have to order the right one. But we are going to give it a try, nevertheless. Before I go and cut it to the actual length, I'm just going to stick it through for now and just hook it like so. We can kind of adjust it as we need to, and then we can final cut it to length once we know. So we're just going to kind of start with it down in here somewhere and just see how that does, and we'll kind of make adjustments from there, or if not, I'll just have to order the right spring. But see what we can make what we got work for now. All right, well, moving onwards, guess where are we at from here? Maybe now's the time to make and see if it does run. So we know it's got a little bit of oil. We know it's got good enough spark. Maybe we just put a little bit of gas down in there and see if it'll actually run. I think for ease of concept, we'll just leave this in here in the shop on the table. I'll just use my drill here again to get this turned over. So let's just see what happens. Oh, I can feel it sucking fuel up. Do I see anything happening in here? There we go. Yippers, it's spraying fuel right in there. Okay. Alright, let's see what happens here. Well, very good. It runs just great. We just got to get this spring figured out. So let's unwind a little bit of this spring. Make it just a little bit longer. See if we can't slow that engine speed down just a little bit. It really wanted to take off on us. A little bit pulled out here on the end of the spring. Okay. Get that stuck through the hole. All right, let's stick on our digital tachometer and see if we can't get this thing kind of set roughly where we want it here. Sure all of our tools are moved out of the way. Don't need that going underneath the mower and getting eaten. Okay. Start out with it here and let's see what happens once. Okay, so what seemed to make it happy was right out here to the end of my bend, as a matter of fact. So I think what we'll do to fine tune this from here, let's just go ahead and make a little hook. Here on the very end. Like so here. Okay, can we stick that through and make that work? Yes, we can. I'll just go down on here. Yeah. That'll stay in there. Then what we can do from here to fine tune this is then we can just go and bend this whole assembly back and forth. That'll give us our fine tuning adjustment. So let's start it back up again one more time. And I know the air filter isn't on, but for the moment, for the time being, let's just see how close to like 3,400 RPM we can get it, and then we'll fine tune it later. But for now, that'll give us a good place to start off with. Okay, and our engine brake worked. Cool. All right, well, I am quite happy with our progress here. This is going really great. So I guess while the engine's warm, let's go ahead and drain our oil out and kind of get that situation figured out and under control here. Like is pretty much the case on all push mowers, it just gets drained out the dipstick hole. So you just simply flip it on its side and hope there isn't too much of a mess, basically. That's some nice dark oil there. Alright, let's take this over to the workbench and see about getting this sharpened up here. Alright, we got our blade sharpened up here. It's about as much as I want to do. We got it kind of cleaned up. Let's put it on the balancer here, see how it balances out. See how much and what we got to take off of where. A little bit heavier on this side, but not much. It's actually not looking bad at all. It's looking not too bad. It's just a little heavier on this side yet, but I think we could probably be at it all day and it still won't be perfect. This side even has a little bit more paint on it, if you want to be honest. So we're just going to run with that, I think. And she's sharp as I want to make it. And I think we're all set there. Alright, we're going to use our blade holder to hold our blade in place while we final torque it down. That way we don't have to hold it with a block of wood or our hand. I'm going to go for about 40 foot-pounds, what we're going to be going for. About 40, 45. Right about there should do it. Or a strong 40. That's perfect. While we're waiting for our new oil to drain down in, we might as well treat it to a new spark plug. I would say it probably deserves a little love. So we'll go ahead and swap that out here. Look too bad. I don't know what kind of plug they had in it, but not sure if it looks to be like the right one. I didn't really think. It's probably alright, but yeah. Alright, set it to our 30 thousandths for our gap. Go. Okay, let's move on to our air filter here. Might as well just replace it, since I'm sure it is past its time to clean from sitting in the barn. These filters, in case you don't know, are supposed to be oiled. The easiest way I found out to go about that is just use an old plastic bag, do something like that, and then dump some oil into it. It helps keep your hands cleaner, and well, that was plenty. You don't need all that, but yeah, and then just kind of squeeze it around into the filter. Let the filter soak it up. It all worked in and around there. And then we'll take it out and we'll squeeze out all the excess, and there's going to be a lot of mine because I just totally smothered the thing. But usually you shouldn't have that much coming out of it. But yeah, just kind of squeeze out the excess there. Our goal is not to stifle the engine, we just want to catch the dust. So once we're happy with how we're squeezed it out, go ahead and work it in and close it all up from there. Okay, we got this thing out of the shop here. Let's see how well it's going to cut. Give it some prime. See if I can do this here and holding the camera. I'll try my best. Okay, doesn't seem to be too bad. Does seem to want to burn a little bit of oil though, so I might have to pay attention to that, and we'll see if it fixes itself, or if we have to get in there and adjust the valves. Might end up taking a valve adjustment, but we'll let it run here a little bit and see if it fixes itself or not. Well, there we have it. There you'd say it works. It runs pretty good actually for sitting in the barn for who knows how long. I ran it a little bit and it seemed to be okay. The oil burning there seemed to clear up, so I'm just going to assume that that was from sitting and having to get the piston rings all reseated and all that from running. But I'll run it here a little longer and make sure all's good before I let it on to a new owner. If for some reason we would have to adjust the valves or anything like that, we'll make another video on that as a little part 2 on it. But at the minute it looks like it's going to clear up. I do have another video I'm going to do on this. We got some wheels here on it that are flared out funny, and most everybody's thought is you have to buy new wheels, but I actually have a solution to that. So I'm going to cut this video here and then film another part to this mower and do how to correct those wheels, and it actually is pretty cheap and easy to do. So so definitely watch for that coming up here. But as far as for this video, I think that's all I got. We look to be good to go. That was a pretty fun project. It was actually a lot easier to get going than I thought it was going to be. I could tell it had been sitting for a while, so I wasn't sure what all we'd be getting into there, but we turned out okay in the end. So with that being said, I think that is all I'm going to have for this video. So be sure to hit that like button. It does help out the channel. Drop a comment down below. Love to hear from you guys, and if you want to see more of this kind of content and you're not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any future content. With that being said, I'm out, and we'll see you on the next one.